Well, weeding the school library. Here's what you need to know to keep the school library collection fresh and engaging. Weeding is an ongoing part of maintaining the collection. Just as you weed a garden to keep it healthy, the library collection needs to be cultivated and cleaned out periodically. Weeding is a thoughtful and reflective process and ensures that the materials that remain are current and enticing for young readers. So why do we weed? Well, first, to create space for new materials. If the shelves are packed, it appears there's no reason to purchase anything new. There have been several years where funds for school libraries have been really dismal, and so many library staff are reluctant to remove resources from the library. But it's critical for the collection to develop and to be productive, so you should always remember that the process of weeding is necessary and part of the library development process. So the issues that are considered when you're weeding materials from the library are copyright, which is a clue to look more carefully at the content, the condition of the book, look for ease of repair. Is there sufficient time and staff to complete the major repairs? Are the books so damaged or worn out that they are not usable? The content, look for the relevance to the needs and curriculum of the school. Outdated information, especially in the areas of science, technology, health, geography, and current affairs, indicates that the material isn't valid. Check for stereotypes or reflect biased viewpoints. The number of circulations, including the last circulation, is a clue as to whether the material is being used. If it hasn't been circulated for 5 to 10 years, determine why. Is it superseded? Is there newer information available? Materials to consider keeping as long as the condition is good are classics, books with local historical value, school publications such as yearbooks, materials that are out of print but still valued for the information, and biographical sources. There are flexible guidelines for maintaining materials in the Dewey classification areas. These numbers are not mandatory, but simply a general idea of how long materials might remain in the collection. Certainly, if there are books older than these dates but are still being circulated and used for projects, they should remain. But it's a way of identifying those materials that may have overstayed their welcome, so to speak. Just think of how information about dinosaurs, for example, has changed over the past 10 years. Those materials should certainly be evaluated. Here are some additional copyright guidelines. If you subscribe to an online encyclopedia, you may want to ship out older sets to classrooms or donate to a variety of organizations. Fiction can flash in and out quickly, so be watching for those books that students are seeking. When removing books from the collection, be sure to black out all the school identification so they don't find their way back to the library. Stamp discarded or withdrawn in the book so there's no question that it's been removed. For materials that are still current and usable, allow teachers and students to take if they like. But don't be afraid to throw away books that are damaged or outdated. Bad information is worse than no information, as the author of Where Do I Start has said. Your text has some bookmarks that explain the reasons why the book was discarded. These can be very useful when parents or teachers see books being discarded and they don't understand what's being done. Be sure to have a look at them on pages 66 and 67. A workable strategy for weeding the collection is to carefully check materials as they're returned to the library. Set aside those books that have been damaged but can be repaired, and tag books that are too damaged to keep. Evaluate each book by smell, look, and feel. It isn't right to hand an ugly or tattered book to a child and say, "Here, read this." Sections of the library can be weeded throughout the school year. When shelving and a shelf is too full for another book, scan the shelves and see if there are shelf sitters that can be removed to create space. And at the end of the year, it's very appropriate to close the library the last week of classes and weed the larger collection. If you plan to do an inventory, you can weed at the same time. Remember to be sure to check the section on weeding in your text. there are some helpful procedures and tools that are going to make the process very easy. So that's it for now.